Well, Daryl, I fear that the perspectives that you espouse here are kind of endangered today here in America. You see it happening on different fronts with what's happening in schools, racial segregation, resegregation again, and racial affinity groups. Ultimately, your process has been to establish contact, establish a common humanity. And when we separate ourselves, and, we separate our cultures, in some cases, people consider it, say, cultural appropriation to play somebody else's music without attribution or something like that, putting up barriers to culture again. And I worry that that we're kind of walking in the wrong direction. One of the things that I guess I mentioned to you before, I distinctly remember the last time I saw you was when we were at a conference, and we were at the after party, which was in a bar in New Jersey. And there was a crowd of Antifa activists assembled opposite. The police were protecting kind of both sides. They were in between. And the crowd was yelling at us all in the bar, and in particular called you, a white supremacist. And so this idea that, if you're talking to people that have the wrong politics or that you disagree or that they disagree with, have racial identitarian views, that you are then guilty of that moral pollution, and it's a taint on you. And so we live now in the world where there's moral transitivity, right? If you talk to this person now, then you espouse his values. How do we operate now in the world like that? And is there anything we can do to change this mindset? Because I think it's going to impede progress.
Yes, absolutely, Melissa. And yeah, when they were yelling all that kind of stuff, I said to the host of the after party, I said, hey, you know what? Let's invite them over. There's a whole variety of people in this room who may not agree politically with each other, but we're talking, we're getting along, we're having a good time together. Let's invite them over so that they can see this and they can say whatever they want to say, and he agreed. And so when they went to invite them over, they said, no, they don't want to be in there with a bunch of white supremacists. And he said, well, Daryl Davis is in there. Obviously, he's not a white, and the guy said, yeah, he's a white supremacist. Even though they know I'm black, but when you call me a white supremacist, you've already lost the battle. I'm sorry, the war is over. But here's the thing: how I think that we approach two things. How we approach things incorrectly, if you will. Number one, one's perception is one's reality. All right. Whatever they perceive becomes their reality. Even if it's not real, it's still their reality. You cannot change somebody's reality. And the more you attack their reality, the more they're going to defend it and get contentious. All right. So here's what you do. If you want somebody to change, offer them a better perception. And if they resonate with your perception that you've offered, or one of your perceptions, they will then change their own reality because their perception becomes their reality. So let me give you I'm going to give you two examples. One hypothetical and the other one real. All right. Let's say you have a 7 or 8 year old brother and he goes to a magic show with his buddy and his buddy's parents. And he comes home and tells you, you're not going to believe this. This magician on stage, he asked for a female volunteer and 50 women raised their hand. He picked one out of the audience, had her come up on stage. Then he had her climb into this long box and stick her feet out the hole at that end and stick her head out the hole at this end. And then he took a chainsaw and went, and he cut that box in half. He cut that woman in half. And you try to say, well, no, that didn't exactly happen. Yes, it did. I was there. You didn't see it. You weren't there. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. That chainsaw went right through the box. The wood split everything. That's his reality. He knows what he saw. And you cannot tell him he did not see that chainsaw cut that box in half. All right? And the more you try to tell him that, the more he's going to fight you. And then to make it even more real for you, he tells you, that while the woman was cut in half, he asked her to wiggle her feet. And she wiggled her feet. And they took the half with the feet and moved that half of the box over to stage, right, and took the half of the head and moved it over to stage left. And then he went over there and talked to the head. And the woman's head talked back to him. And then he brought the two halves back together and opened the box. And the woman climbed out, full form, no blood, all intact. He cut her in half and he put it back together, I'm telling you. And you're saying, well, no, it's really an illusion. No, it's not. I'm telling you, I saw it, So you're attacking his reality. Don't do that. What you do is you offer him a better perception. You say, listen, I wasn't there. I hear what you're saying, and I believe you. But here's the thing: could it possibly be that when you said he asked for a female volunteer and 50 women raised their hand, could it be just possible that the woman he chose, maybe she works for him? Maybe he planted her in the audience and she tours around the country everywhere he does his show. She knows the trick. She comes up on stage and he has her get into the box. And there's already a pair of mannequin dummy legs laying on the floor of the box that are wearing the same stockings and same shoes she has on. She picks them up and shows them out the hole. You can't see because the box is solid wood, and shows them out the hole at that end. And when he tells her, and she brings her own knees up under her chest. So her whole body is on that half of the box. And these dummy legs are sticking out the hole on the other side. And when he says, wiggle your feet, she just shakes the legs in her hand. And then when he separates the boxes, puts the legs over on that side of the stage and the head over on this side of the stage, he has to divert your attention from those legs, because now those legs can't move on their own because that lady's not holding them anymore. So he goes over and he talks to the head, and that's where all your attention goes. And the head talks back because her whole body is there. Her knees are up under her chest. And then he brings the two halves back together. She simply reaches over, pulls the legs out of the hole, leaves them on the floor of the box, and she climbs out. So your 7 or 8-year-old brother says, yeah, I guess that would be the only way it could work. You've offered him a better perception, and then he changes his own reality. It's always better if somebody comes to their own thought process and converts themselves. You give them the impetus, the catalyst, all right? That'll be a lot stronger than you trying to pound some reality into them. It's not going to work.